welcome to Fresh Cut Games. Today's game is Bountiful Booty by Ryan Tharp. So here we have all the components for Bountiful Booty printed out, and as you can see, it's got a very modest footprint. There are really only 4 pieces that are crucial to print out for the game. I also printed out the rulebook, one sheet, double-sided, because if you've got a nice laser printer, why not? But yeah, it's got a very, very small footprint. I don't anticipate this is going to take me long to cut up at all, really. So for today's game, I learned something very important about running cardstock through a laser printer. Turns out that on modern laser printers, they need to essentially cook the toner for slightly longer to get it to set on a heavier paper than just your standard office paper. So if you don't warn your laser printer that you're feeding it cardstock, it winds up looking really nasty, smudgy like this. But if you find the correct setting, if you tell your laser printer that the paper you're giving it is in fact cardstock, the results are considerably better. So today's tip: make sure your laser printer knows what you're doing to it. Here's me cutting out the game. I want to do a whole time-lapse thing of me constructing it from start to finish, but the camera you're seeing this on is a hunk of junk. It's going to die shortly. I'm using my little slide cutter here. I should probably up my game if I'm going to make too many more of these videos. I understand that the roller cutter with a yardstick is the way to go if you are serious about doing this. The slide cutter wasn't bad. Didn't work terribly well for the hexes, though. That required a fair amount of hand cutting. Oh, and the tokens. This game features a whole bunch of little circular tokens that I had to cut out with the scissors, and that really sucked. We'll touch on that a little in the review. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. No more video. Yep. So this camera's a piece of junk, and there's going to be a bit of a delay here while I get a camera. That's not terrible. Hi everybody, I'm Pete, this is Jasmine, and welcome to our first episode of Fresh Cut Games. Today we are going to be playing Bountiful Booty, a game by Ryan Tharp. As you can see, this is an area control pirate-themed game. As you would hope for with a pirate-themed game, the objective is to have the most loot at the end. Whoever gets the most loot by game's end wins. All the paper stuff is part of the downloads that I had to cut out, and the components that I had to provide are dice, total of 6, a total of 20 markers of different colors that we'll be using as ships, and then 50 things that you can use as loot. Poker chips seemed like a totally logical choice there. So, let's figure out how to play this thing.
Wait, are you going first or am I going first?
Would you like to go?
What do the rules say?
The rules don't specify.
No.
Oh. There has to be some ridiculous starting player.
Whoever makes the best pirate impersonation.
All right.
Arr.
I won MVP a few years ago, and I'm terrific. That's a terrible McCutcheon impersonation. You can go first.
Okay.
You can go first.
I was going to let you go first.
Oh,
but
I don't think I sound like Kutch.
Too late now. Okay, so I'm going to go to...
Then you can play... Okay, you did. That's exactly what you did. Then you raid the island, which is what you did. Roll the dice.
Okay.
Okay, so if I'm interpreting the rules correctly, you get 1 coin for every die that's not a skull, except on doubles, I think you get an extra coin per die. So by my count, 5, 5, 6 is 5 coins.
Okay.
In your temporary stash.
Oh no.
The temporary. Okay, and... Oh, skull.
But you got doubles.
I got doubles, 2 3s, so that's 4 more. So in my temporary. I'll put this with the skull can guard the temporary.
Now can I come over here?
No.
You've blocked it off.
Yeah, I've effectively blocked that off.
Oh, I picked a horrible starting position then.
Well, except I can't really get to any of these guys over here.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, I'm gonna go to... When do you lose your temporary stash? Like, when do your temporaries become permanent?
Your temporaries become permanent if you relent of your own volition.
Oh, if you roll all 3 skulls, you give up your stash?
It doesn't say to.
Yeah, I don't understand how this game works. Like, I don't understand it. To go to there. 1.
And that goes to your permanent. Every little ship she takes. Da 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 da. 1.
Thrilling combination.
Every loot that she takes. Da 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 da. Alright, now you get to roll the dice.
Okay, with the die.
The die.
Oh no!
Okay, so...
I guess my ships come off the board
ships
and
come
I don't
off-
get a coin.
Okay, and for my turn, I am totally relenting
Yeah.
and closing out the game. So...
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I won. May as well count. 2, 3...
Maybe don't be so sure next time.
Ah!
26.
Okay, oh, son of a... So we have encountered a condition that the rules...
What? What?
Okay, so... according to the rules as written, you win. But I was wondering, it's like... It says all coins. It doesn't specify permanent stash versus temporary stash.
Right, yeah, so I assume
So,
you...
yeah. But then why does it matter?
Yeah, I don't know.
I get the impression that there are rules he thought was too obvious to set down, or that just maybe probably wasn't even a conscious choice of this is too obvious. It was just like, this is how it's played, and then he forgot to translate that because...
Yeah, I think so too. Like, I think that there must be something more to this press your luck thing.
Yeah, because
that didn't really come up. It wasn't really pressing your luck, because there was no opportunity. Like, you couldn't have your coins stolen or taken from you.
Yeah, and
so I feel like if you...
The only press your luck element in the rules as written is whether or not you can cash in on the ships on the board. But regardless, you are the Pirate Queen. Yay. Well done.
Thank you.
Alright, so thoughts on Bountiful Booty?
I feel like we must have been missing a rule or something. Like, the designer just didn't write something down that related to the press your luck element, because I feel like I wasn't able to press my luck at all. Yeah,
I feel like a big part of a good press your luck game is the tension. Mm-hmm. Do I risk it or do I go for it? And it seemed like, as written, there was very little at risk.
Right.
So that there has to be something more to the temporary coin stash than what was written.
Yeah, I feel like you probably lose it on 3 skulls or drawing and not being able to move. I feel like that's the only way that really works.
The 3 dice mechanic is a little bit broken as a press your luck, even if there was more at stake, just because that's how you're making your money. I mean, yeah, there are some nice cookies on the unexplored islands, and that doesn't suck, but if you're down to 1 die, your best case scenario is you make 1 coin. I mean, with 3 dice, we were regularly hitting 5 coins, and making 3 coins is pretty much, the statistical expectation. So, yeah, once you start losing dice to skulls, you need to relent.
Another thing I thought that was a little bit strange is it's a pirate game, but there's no fighting.
Yeah, and no stealing.
Yeah, I was kind of playing my own game, which is really strange for a pirate.
Yeah, I would expect a nautical themed game for me to... That might be another press your luck element, is that you don't lose the temporary coins, but maybe there's some way for me to poach them.
Right. Yeah, I think that would have been interesting. I wonder if it's like the game designer and me speaking, though.
Yeah. Well, this is what happens when game designers playtest things. So.
Right. But you know what? The art was really nice, and I liked the style and the size of the components. I feel like the cards were small to help preserve ink, but they were still playable.
Yeah, I agree on the graphic elements of this. I exchanged some messages with the designer before filming, and he doesn't have any immediate plans to kickstart this or take this into production, but I have to say that if I opened a game that had this quality artwork in it, I wouldn't bat an eye. This would be totally fine. So So the dotted lines, particularly the vertical dotted line, really gets obscured by the little token outline and by the island name. And so that's kind of a slight graphic imperfection. It's clear that all of these are meant to just have the lines going through them if it's an island. Every island connects to all of its neighbors.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing here is just putting those rules that I think the designer probably has in their head on paper.
Yeah, in general. While I was setting this up, and it made me realize in the future I need to film myself setting this game up, but like the instructions say, make a map. Is it a map that looks like this? The one we actually used? I truly don't know. I made a map that looked reasonable to me. I don't know if that's the map that was supposed to.
So you made that map?
Yeah.
Interesting.
The one quibble I have with the components for the print and play, the tokens are super fiddly. They're a pain in the butt to cut out. That was by far the most annoying part of actually assembling the game, was cutting out 18 teeny tiny little circles. And they're teeny tiny little circles. You'll notice we weren't really picking them up so much as mashing our finger down onto them and counting on them to adhere and then plucking them back up.
Yeah.
So that, something slightly larger would have been welcome, to be perfectly honest. But that's not that big a deal.
Yeah, I think with a print and play you definitely have to think about it because you want to keep things small, just to make sure that you're not kind of using a lot of resources, using a lot of ink if you're printing this on your home printer, but you want to make sure that they're big enough to be functional. So maybe in this case even like a smaller rectangle that would still fit on the bottom of the hex but wouldn't be so fiddly to cut out and would sort of take up a little bit more room so you'd have some more heft to it.
Yeah. I did really appreciate how that the effort made to keep the rules modest. We've been complaining about going too far in that direction, but I feel like Ryan did such a good job of keeping the rules modest that he can add all the clarifications we're asking for and still have rules that fit on a single sheet of paper front and back, which is what he did here. Final thoughts on Bountiful Booty. Would you buy this game?
With the rules as written, no, I wouldn't. I need that clarification of what the press your luck element is. Because I feel like right now I'm kind of filling it in with like my game designer brain. And I want there to be more of a game there. And I think that that's really just a matter of putting some clarifications in the rules that make it clear what you're supposed to do with your temporary stash and how that's different from your permanent stash, when and how you lose coins, and then what makes the 3 skulls so bad.
Yeah, I agree. If I saw this game on the shelf, would not buy, would not recommend, but a revised version of this game I would gladly play again. I feel like there are some interesting elements here. If they were developed a little more or explained a little more clearly, this could be a cool little game.
Yeah, I mean, we generally like 2-player games with a lot of back and forth. I feel like there wasn't a lot of back and forth in this one, but that there probably, should have been.
Yeah, and the area control aspect is interesting to me because you don't see this kind of area control in a lot of 2-player games. And it's also very fluid, with part of the reason why you wouldn't relent is, perhaps I wouldn't relent because I feel like I'm really bottling up Jasmine, and she knows that she just has to try and, suck it up until I finally relent, and ta-da, now she has all this room to expand. And that really didn't come into play in this game, but I can see how it could, and that's cool. That's potentially...